All right, and we are live. So again, for those of you at home, all you're going to need today is a towel, and that's basically going to be it. Make sure you do have a water bottle. Oh, that's okay that you can't respond. No big deal. So make sure you have a towel at home. Obviously, you should probably have a water bottle, maybe a yoga mat. If you guys have been coming to my classes, you've mostly seen me outdoors. So welcome to my living room. I did have to move some things around to get it ready for us, but oh well, here we are. I'm happy to have you guys inside my home. And today we're mostly hitting full body, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of pure strength we're going to be doing. So some push-up work, some kind of normal hip stretching, but activation work, and a bunch of fun stuff. Always feel free to throw me a suggestion if there's something you particularly want to hit in your body or work on or address, whether that's corrective exercise, stretching, body weight strength, cardio, anything in that manner. Today is mostly strength-based, not too much heart rate-y stuff. So it's good for me, so I don't have to be out of breath trying to explain things to you. So it kind of looks like I'm standing up right now, but I'm not. I'm on my knees. All right, we'll get started. Find yourself standing up. As we always start my classes, I want to start with our full body CARs. CARs being an acronym, which means circles of our joint, or controlled articular rotations. The way we do that is that we stand up nice and tall. We almost want to get rigid in the body. So think feet press out, glutes tuck under, rib cage pulls in, make little fists, squeeze the air with your fists. I want you to feel basically a full body tension as if you're bracing against heavy winds. With that stuff tight, we're going to start chin tucking to chest. Scrape that chin to your right shoulder as far as you can look over that right shoulder. Drop your ear, side bending to that shoulder. Pivot nose up and over. Looking over your left. Drop chin down. Scrape across. Continue that circle all the way looking over your shoulder. Drop that ear, pivot nose up and over. Draw a rainbow with your nose. Drop from the shoulder to the collarbone. From the middle, we're going to reverse. Twist the other direction, looking over that shoulder. Side bend and neck. Drop ear, pivot up. Slow and steady here. Super controlled. We want these circles to be maximum circle with minimal compensation in the rest of the body. I'm on my last half circle here. It's fine if you go faster or slower, as long as it feels good with no pain, but maybe stretching. We're going to go into our torso. I like feet wide for this one. It just kind of sticks my body better into place. So same thing idea is gripping the ground with our feet and our glutes and our core, really getting everything engaged in the body. I like an X on my chest, but if you prefer to give yourself a big hug or maybe like anchor your hands together, whatever feels right, I like the X. Butt stays put, crunch down. Notice my elbows try to touch my hip bones. Twist to the right. I pivot my torso, not my hips. Drop right shoulder down, side bending. Pivot up, chest tall, like you're dodging a punch in slow motion. Left shoulder drops down towards that hip. Crunch through the middle. And again, to the right. Pivot right, hips do not move. Side bend down. Pivot up and over, tall chest. Dropping left shoulder before crunching through the middle. From the middle, we're going to reverse. Pivot, side bend crunch, arch chest tall, arch your back, drop right shoulder. I feel like I have my lefts and rights already wrong today, so I apologize if they are mixed up. Last circle. When in doubt, you got a 50-50 chance of being right or wrong, so as long as you're making this a smooth circle, you're probably getting the right idea here. Next one we're going to do here is our shoulder blade. So imagine you're about to hug somebody and you lock your arms out, a big embracing hug. Keeping those arms stiff, we're going to move our shoulder blade, which is the shrugging motion and the forward backward motion. Think seesaw. So we're going to go up and around, not a seesaw, a table saw, sorry, normal saw. We're going to reach forward, shrug up, around and back, and reach again forward, shrug up, down and back. I'm going to show you the side view here. Forward, up into the ears, back together, back pocket, front pocket. Shrug into the cheekbone, pull behind the ears, squeeze into your back pockets, go into the forward pockets and reverse. Back pockets, slide up into the ears, forward cheekbones, down front pocket, one more in that direction, all the way around and down. Awesome. I have to take a knee so that you can see my hands in the frame, but feel free to stand up or take a knee or sit down. This move basically works in any position. I just need to stay stable so you can see my arms. So both arms at the same time. Watch my palms. Forward palms, slow scoop up. Like I'm pushing through water. The air becomes more dense. I'm struggling to push through the air as if it was water or mud. Once I get up past my ears, I want to pivot. Palms outwards now. Swim around. Look at my T I'm forming. Squeeze shoulder blades together, pinching all the way down to my hips with my hands. Now I want to go backwards. Reverse back as far as I can go before I make an adjustment to find more circular motion in my shoulders. I come up all the way past my ears before I come down. One more reversal here. I'll show you the side view. Up very slow. Again, ribs tight, core tight, push through the air. It has to be difficult. Pivot, reach out. I'm going back. Notice my hands are behind my body, not to the side. I'm going to rotate extra. Look how far back they go. That's the point, is getting the full arm. Now watch the circle as I do this one. My hand is a marker. I draw that circle behind me. I pivot to keep that circle drawing. I bring that circle up over my head, and I slowly finish the circle down in front of my body. If you've been doing these with me for a while and you're noticing that's the first time you understood what the circle was for the arm, awesome. Do that one every day. Do it so often you can teach your friends. Next one here, we're still standing up, is our hip circle. You might need something to put a hand onto for support. I have a couch here, but it's a little too low. I'm pretty tall, I'm 6'4", so imagine you could put your hand on top of something. But with some balance, we're gonna pick a knee up. And hopefully I don't fall over on camera. We're gonna go knee open out to the side. Pivot, foot back, knee follows through. Squeeze behind you, engage that glute. Draw that knee to meet the other knee and reverse. We go backwards, out to the side, rotate, step over the doggy fence. Knee up to my chest before I come in and down. And one more, up as high as I can go. Rest of my body is stiff and still. Out to the side, pivot, really keep that knee high as I scrape my glute muscle. Reverse, core engaged, backwards, out to the side. Rotate, step over the fence, knee up and then in and down. That one burns my whole other leg. Perfectly fine. We're gonna do the other leg, re-stiffen that body, knee up as high as possible, and knee out to the side. Pivot, that's the hardest part to understand. Pivot, ankle up, and knee follows back. Scrape the glute muscle, reverse, backwards, out to the side, rotate to step over in out of the tub, knee to chest and down. Last reverse, up and down, up, out, pivot, that's the hardest part. Scrape that glute muscle, and reverse, back, really engage that glute, lift out to the side, and then I want to really crank rotation as I lift up and in and down. Awesome. Next one here is just touching our toes, but I want you to imagine that it's from each vertebrae, from the head down. I'll turn to the side, feel free to stay to the front. I want feet still about hip width apart or relatively narrow. Now, if let's imagine you had 100 vertebrae, I want you to start at the top at number 1 and 2. We're going to roll down all the way to 100 until we're touching the ground. Notice my legs are straight and how round my back is. At this point, I'm trying to touch the top of my head to the ground as I very slowly reach. I get a nice back stretch here, big lumbar stretch, mid-back stretch. It doesn't matter how far down you go, as long as you go to your depth that you're comfortable with. Now on the way up, come from the tailbone. Think about tucking your tailbone or glutes, squeezing your butt, sliding your hands up your legs. Piece by piece, I want to slowly roll up. And at the top, give me just a little bit of like a head and chest lift for extra extension. We have 2 more of these. Tucking down, 1 vertebrae at a time. If you could almost count 100 little movements to get down, that's perfect. Try to breathe steadily here as you do this. You've probably heard that we shouldn't be lifting with a rounded back. Now, yes, if we don't intentionally do it, that can cause a lot of damage to our body. However, if we do it with intention, it's okay. I'm not asking you to lift 500 pounds with a rounded back, but picking up your kid, your dog, tying your shoes, quickly grabbing something like laundry off the ground doesn't always mean you have to have a perfect spine alignment. The goal is to control your body and yourself. Whatever position that you are in, you have intentional action. That's how you avoid injury first, is knowing where your body is. All right, I'll get off my high horse now. Feet nice and wide, toes straight. I don't want toes turned out, more straight as you can manage. Notice how wide my stance is. Yours should mimic this. Now I want you to take your fingers, find your hip bones or your pockets. Bring those pockets to your left side, but back behind you. There's a wall behind you. Touch it with your butt. As I sit there, I feel a nice stretch on that straight leg, groin, inside thigh. Now I'm going to use this hip to push myself up to the middle. Again, pockets are going to go to my right now, but back. If you could touch the wall with your butt, you would. Really push back. Knee is a little bent, hips back is what I care about. Nice stretch here, active feet, push up to the middle. Reverse in and out of this one as much as it feels right for you. If you're super bendy, super flexible, you can turn this into something called the Cossack squat, which looks like this. Only if there's no pain and you can stay on the heel. It's not this one that you probably see in a yoga class. It's sitting on that heel. That's a harder move. Please feel free to be safe and not do that one. But all I'm asking for is we sit into a stretch here and our hip here, active feet. Push up to the middle, finishing every rep with glutes forward. We have 2 more. Sitting into this hip, all the way up. The Cossack squat is a pretty advanced move, but it's a great goal to work towards for, let's call it, advanced mobility of the body. We have 1 more rep. I counted wrong. Last rep here. This one's no joke. Be very careful if you're attempting the Cossack squat. All right, feet come close together here. Now, I just want to warm up the knees and the feet a little bit more. So 2 movements, feet are together. If you could literally touch your big toes together and your heels together, that's what I want you to do. Put your hands on the knees if you've done this one with me before. This is the potty circles. You're a little kid and you're waiting in line at Waterworld and you got to go potty and you're trying to tell the parents. This would be the potty dance. Squeeze the knees together, make little circles, keep the heels and the toes together. Switch as many times as you feel comfortable. You can even kind of sway back and forth a few times, come in and out of it a few times. Whatever feels good. We're just trying to get enough closed but rotational motion in our feet and our knees. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Stand on up. Now for this one, I want a little bit wider stance. Now, be very careful with this one. I don't want you to be bending into your knees so much like this. I want you to just shift your weight until your feet tilt. Shift your weight until your feet tilt to the out and inside edge. Back and forth. Mostly straight legs here. Tilt until you're on edges of the feet. That does mean you have to get a little bit off your center of gravity. For you skiers and snowboarders out there, this move is actually going to be relatively familiar to you, or at least the body positioning. We have a few more. Outside, inside, outside, inside. I'm really trying to push myself to the edge. So watch, if I go any further than here, I start to tilt. I want you pushing right to that edge if your balance is okay. So finish that one up, and then we're going to do the same thing front to back. I'll show you the side view. Feet are relatively parallel. I'm going to shift back, pick my toes up, shift forward, heels come up. Shift back, toes come up or balls of the foot. Shift forward, heels. Back and forth. You can do a few fast, a few slow. Straight legs is much harder for the back. Bent knees, a little bit easier to control here. Neither is right or wrong. I just want to warm up the stuff around your ankles. Last 3. There's 1. And I fall. 2. And 3. All right, let's get on the ground now. We're going to do one of my favorite stretches in the world, and it is called the world's greatest stretch. There's other terms, there's lizard pose and a bunch of stuff like that. However, if you Google world's greatest stretch, I guarantee it will come up and it will benefit you if you do this. Hands and knees, tabletop position. Left foot outside left hand. Even if you heel toe there, kind of scoot it there, that's okay. Now I want you to shift your hips forward and then shift your hips back. Hands stay put, hips forward, hips back. You're gonna get a different sensation in your hips and groin and hip sockets and hip flexors and hamstrings. Just keep shifting back and forth. I don't like a long stretch hold before I work out. I do like dynamic stretching, or at least these active mobility, which is kind of strength in stretch type stretches. Now what I want you to do is sit forward. Notice I scooted forward. Take your back toes, tuck them, lift that back knee, hold that position if you can manage it. If that's too much, keep your knee on the ground. Another level here, you're gonna take that inside arm, reach it up to the sky. Hold that position, take some deep breaths. Slowly unwind everything, switching legs completely. Other leg goes outside that foot. I shift forward, I shift back. Me personally, I like to keep my hands exactly where they are. What happens is, I find people do this. They sit back and they say, I'm stretching my hamstring. Not necessarily. You might feel a stretch sensation, but usually it's under the knee. My hamstring stretch I want you to feel is actually under the muscle belly, in the middle of the back of your leg. A few more forwards, a few more backwards, and we're going to pause forward. I'm making this warm-up take forever today. I apologize. Subconsciously, I think it's more for my own energy output than yours, but it is not fair of me to sacrifice your hard work because of my own fatigue. Because of that, we're going to ramp it up a little bit here today. Let's shift forward into our hips. Straighten out that back knee. Try to get a nice deep hip stretch. Your inside arm reaches up, eyes up. Take some deep breaths. Take that hand, come back down, set your knee down, shift that foot behind you to relax just a moment. Now, we're going to do our 90-90 stretch. Those that have been with this class for a while are going to be familiar with this position now, but if you're new to it, because we are recording this one, the main idea of this one is hip rotation. So what we're going to do is sit just like so, knees out, feet up, everything is open, and we're just going to drop to one side. Don't worry about left or right, just drop into the ground. Now, you can kind of see I have an outside hip, this kind of top side, and a bottom or front leg, the one that's closed. Go to that front leg. What I care about is that your chest becomes parallel with your front shin. Then think about tilting your pelvis into this one. I want to kind of lift my butt cheeks up and lean my chest forward, not down. You might be familiar with this kind of pigeon pose from yoga. I don't want that. I want posture like you're going to an interview, nice and upright. Hold that position a moment. Ideally, you're feeling some stretch sensation in the bottom hip butt cheek connection. If not, think more belly button forward, more tailbone lifting. Think arch your low back and try to get that stretch. It's a relatively easy one to find. Now what I want you to do is we're going to work on activations here with our mind-muscle connection. Start to push your front ankle down, your front shin down, and your front knee into the ground. Dent the floor with your leg tension. Push into the ground. Hands can be wherever you want, but for the next 15 seconds, push into the ground. You might feel a cramping sensation in this other hip. That's okay. Work through it, breathe through it. If you need to come out a moment, that's okay. But try to stay in and push for 5, 4, push harder, 3, 2. Instead of relaxing, now I want you to try to pull. Can you pull this shin off the ground? Ankle up, shin up, knee up, squeeze more forward. I'm trying to get millimeters deeper into this stretch without changing my posture. Squeeze into it for about 10 more seconds. Really try to pull here. Pull hard. You should feel some almost groin inside thigh work here. 4, 3, 2, ease off the gas. No tension at all. If that's a new one for you, I can almost guarantee that if you do that every day, you will have a better, healthier hip. Your hip is everything. Your hip is your knee. Your hip affects your foot. Your hip affects your low back pain. It affects your abdominal strength. It affects some breathing. It affects a lot of organs. I'm gonna let you fill in the blank on that one. Your hips are everything. So let's get those hips stronger. Chest parallel with that front shin again. This time, I want you to pull up to draw in and forward. So watch. I try to lift the shin up. I'm going to pull myself deeper into the position. I find my sticking point. I push down to push away. I force the ground down. That forces my posture up. Reverse. Pull up. Front leg tries to get off that ground so hard that I can squeeze further in. I'm squeezing this closing angle together, and then I want to push away. Push all the way to the top. Do this one at your own pace. We're here for about 30 more seconds. Your reps don't matter as much as just your effort is constant. I'm pulling, 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 then I'm pushing all the way away. If this doesn't feel like strength training anymore, or if it's too easy, check it out. No hands. This is pretty miserable with no hands. Pull, 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 pull. Push, 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 push. I have one more rep. You can do as many more as you need to within that time. Squeeze yourself further into the position and then push that angle open and relax. I got to catch my breath from that one. If you felt like you had to relax for a moment, congrats, you did it right. That's all I'm asking is tension, load into that hip. Flip to the other side. Whatever way helps you see me. Now, I didn't address this first, but the 90-90 is the angles of your joints. There's a bunch of angles, and it's my knee is 90 degrees, my hips are 90 degrees, my knee is 90 degrees. When in doubt, if you can draw an imaginary perfect square in between your legs right here, you're close enough. Chest parallel front shin. First, let's just search for that stretch. Scan for the stretch. I personally like posture upright, core engaged, tilt my pelvis up. Basically, not this, not a dog going to the bathroom, but rather a happy dog. Lift that tailbone up, arch your low back. Find that stretch in your hip and stay there for a moment. First step is always the stretch. Second step is isometric tension, which is tension without movement. Third step is tension with movement. Those are like building blocks to building better joints. I care more about joint specific training versus big movement specific training. Your joints always will take the brunt of the work. So we got to make sure those joints are healthy before we do things like intense squats, jumping jacks, or burpees or something. So enough ranting. Hold your position. Leg pushes down, ankle down, shin down, knee down. Dent your ground. If you can leave a dent in your floor, I'll give you a free training session. Push down so hard that that hip is working. It's aching almost, or burning, or shaking. Press for 10 more seconds with all of your might. 5, 4, stay on the gas. 3, 2, now reverse that tension. Try to pull that ankle up, that shin up, that knee up. Squeeze. If there was a scale on the ground, your legs should be a little bit lighter than before. Pull hard. Pull that belly button to your middle thigh, but don't lose your posture. Notice the S curve of my posture right now. There's a nice curve to it. I'm not one round position. I have a curve. For 5, keep pulling. 4, 3, 2, ease off that gas. Come out just a little bit. Let's call this upright. That's what we want to start and stop with for this movement. This one now is going to be pulling myself in and pushing myself out via the bottom leg tension. Bottom leg begins to pull up. I'm trying to pull this angle close. No hands is no joke. Don't jump to that if you're not ready for it. Pull close, pull close. I find that tension point, then I push away. I drive down so hard that I can sit more upright. I pull in. I'm trying to get this shin off the ground. None of this will accomplish, but I want you to try anyways. Find your sticking point. Push, 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 push. Reverse. Pull, 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 and push. Keep that going at your own pace now with all of your effort. You guys ever have one of those days where you have a giant list of things to do written down and you only get to like number 4 out of 50? Right now, we are here. Can you see my finger on the paper? This whole paper is filled up with things. So, you know, guys, it might just be one of those days where we don't get to the end of the list, and that is perfectly okay because it's Friday. There's always tomorrow, or there's always accepting that you can't get everything done, and that's life. Last 2, push, push, push. Last pull, and push. Awesome. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. That was the warm-up, if you want to call it that. We're doing push-ups with lift-offs here. I know you probably just started groaning at hearing the word push-up. I love push-ups. I think it's a wonderful exercise. So for the push-up that we're going to do today, I want you to do the easiest possible version first for you, and I want you to lower down to the ground. Fight the lowering phase. Let me show you one version from my knees. So my knees are way far back, not here for the push-up, but rather here. Now watch, elbows pulled down towards my sides, not out to the side. I'm going to very slowly lay my chest down. I'm going to lift my hands off the ground, set them down, and literally cheat up. That's a great starting point for this exercise. Core is engaged, glutes are tucked. Slowly go down to the ground. If you haven't started, please start. How low and slow can you go? Lift those hands up at the end position. Maybe you push up from the ground this time. Go super slow down. That's what I care about, is the control to the ground, the lift up, the push. The same thing works from your feet. Super slow and low. Squeeze yourself to the ground. Whatever version you're doing, do it under control. We're here for 15 more seconds. I care about how well you do, not how many you do. As long as you can rep out one more, I am happy. Slow and low here. Squeeze those shoulder blades together to get down. Lift those hands. I push. That's my last rep there. Now what I want you to do is just lay down. What a nice part of the day. Look, I'm such a nice guy. Elbows under shoulders. We're doing our plank off of the ground. So notice the arch in my back right now. I want to take that arch away to pick my belly up. I push into my hands. I pull my rib cage up. I pull my belly button up and I tuck my tailbone. Do you see how I went all the way from an arch to a round back? I'm going to slowly float down and touch the ground. Chest tall. Push down, ribs up, belly up, tailbone tucked, optional knees, and slowly float back down to the ground. We're essentially doing kind of a crunch away from the ground. I engage everything away, crunch up, squeeze the glutes, feel my core engage, slow on the way down. Keep going here. I just want to check that chat box, make sure everything is okay. Keep working those crunch up and away from the grounds. Up and down. This is the most effective way I've ever taught someone a plank, is to do it in the way the plank is designed. The plank is an anti-movement exercise. The whole goal is to just resist falling down. So rather than be afraid of falling down, let's go down slow, right? Go the place you're not supposed to go so you understand how to live there and be careful. Full range of motion is what I care about, controlling every position of your plank. This is your last one here. Hold at the top if you're up. So go up and hold for 10 seconds. Pull that belly button away from the ground as much as possible. 5, 4, 3, 2, slowly lay back down. Nice. For this one, we're doing actually a really typical low back exercise. I want you to give me an X. So legs are wide, arms are wide, about as wide as you can relatively manage here. Ideally for this one, forehead is down, looking down, but head is hovering. I want to lift opposites off the ground, set them back down. Opposites off, left and right, set it back down, left and right. What I don't want though is crazy bending in the spine. Try to pull the belly button off of the ground as you do these lift ups. So belly button off the ground, keep switching here at your own pace. Really drive through the shoulder blade and the glute to lift those limbs up, feeling it connect through the low back and core. Yeah, about 6 more lift offs. I'm pausing for 1 second at the top. I have 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and rest. Awesome. Now, it's Friday. I'd be doing you a disservice to not have you do push-ups twice. I mean, when have you ever gotten anything by trying one time? It doesn't really happen. If we want to get better at something, we have to repeat it until we get good at it. And then we need to make it harder so that we are forced to adapt to a new challenge. That is the only way we grow as people. It's the only way we strength train. You don't get stronger doing the same thing over and over and over. You just get the definition of insanity. So make sure we're still recording. Yeah, we are. Cool. We're doing our push-up negative lift off, press back up. Whatever version works for you, I want you to slowly pull your chest towards the ground. Very controlled. Lift those hands off the ground, set them down, push all the way up. Slowly pull down. Try to get that chest near the ground. Lift the hands up, push up or cheat up. I'm okay with cheating up for this exercise. Optional up to a full push-up. Slow and low. Float that chest down, lift those hands up, all the way up with the push. Super controlled. None of this should be too herky-jerky. I want nice and steady. We have 5 more reps. Super controlled. All the way up. Did I say 5 more reps? Why did I say something so terrible? Let's do 2 more. Obviously, please go at your own pace for these. This is your workout, not mine. As long as you're feeling comfortable here, working through discomfort. And rest. We go into our plank lift-offs, laying completely down on the ground. Now, what I want you to do first is think about going from an arched back to a rounded back. That's the whole point of the exercise. You can get plenty burn in the core doing this from the knees. You'll notice a lot of times my moves are from the knees too. There's no shame or harm in doing the easier versions of things because it's still telling your body, hey, this is how we do this move. This is how we become smarter as a body. So push into the arms to lift that chest up, pull your ribs, pull your belly button, get up, potentially lift those knees, hold that position, slowly float back down, controlled chest up. Push, lift high, squeeze the glutes, slowly float back down. Rinse and repeat. press up, lift up. If you want, hold at the top, and now pull your elbows and your feet together under your body, squeeze them together. Instant shakes from that, and then come back down. That inward tension helps people engage the core more in the plank rather than just kind of sitting on their skeleton. I have one more rep. Again, your pace is for you to control. Just try to keep a relatively close pace to me. And then we have one last move on the ground. We're going to switch this one up a little bit here. Rather than do our X lift offs, we're going to do something called essentially it's an external rotation shoulder blade stabilizer. I'm going to show you seated real quick. We're laying in this position. We're going to lift off the ground, the arms off the ground, try to press into a Y or an I, bring it back, set it on the ground. So just so you can see, we're going to do the same way, same thing together. Start in a W position, lift the arms up, press up without touching the ground, bring them back to your W, set them down. Rinse and repeat. 2 thumbs up is a little bit harder of a version to do. Try to get close to your ears with your biceps. Now, some of you with your shoulders, you're not going to be able to do that. That's okay. Get your pain-free position. Up, reach forward, come back, and down. Now, you can play with this one. There's tons of variations. Keep going, but there's tons of things you can try. You can actually handcuff the back of the head and pull back into that W. Handcuff elbows high, W. You can work those positions. You can do little flapping wings in each position that I'm showing you. We have 20 seconds. All I care about is that you are feeling those shoulder muscles, all of the upper body stabilizers near the neck, shoulder blades, rear delts, everything over here. We're here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. All right, have a quick sip of water if you'd like it. I know I need it. We're going to be doing standing legs here for a moment because that's a lot of upper body we just did. So meet me on your feet. Quick tip to knee pain. A lot of us suffer from some knee issues, but when in doubt, there's 2 things you want to avoid if you have current knee pain. Whenever you do a movement, your knee should never fall in like so. Knee, inside line of toe, typically knee pain. Second thing to try to avoid, again, only if you have current knee pain, is if you do a lunge or a squat and your knee goes this far forward towards your toes, it can cause a lot of stress on that knee. So when in doubt, knee above heel. That's not to say that it's wrong to do this. I mean, I can do a squat like this, no knee pain. It depends on your knees. If you have knee pain, bring it back and bring it straight. Cool? Cool. Feet together. We're going to go reverse lunge, alternating legs as slowly as you can. My tip for lunges, tease the ground with that back foot. How late can you set that foot down? All the way back up. Slow and low. You want to step back probably further than you think. Again, float down to the ground, come back up. Float down, stable knee here. I'll show you what I don't want to see. This is not a good rep. Do you see how that knee falls completely inwards? Typically that puts a lot of undue stress on the inside of that knee, a lot of the tendons that help hold it together. My golden rule with weightlifting or exercise is learn the rules, then learn to break them. For most people, they need to work on their alignment and their form, trying to cause perfection, getting it to be really controlled. Then once you get comfortable, you can go a little crazier. You can work on knee stability stuff like so, but please only do that if you kind of mastered the basics. We have 10 seconds. I've been doing these very slow and steady to emphasize that form is everything. If you can't do it slow, you probably shouldn't do it fast. for 3, 2, and rest. Awesome. This one's gonna suck. Bring your feet close together. I want you to bend your knees until the point your heels come up off the ground. Now, if that's too far for you, because this is what I'm looking for here. Look, my heels came up off the ground. I'm laying back into my posture, kind of like the Matrix where he dodges the bullets. Hold this position. Now, if that hurts, maybe go to right here. Just push your knees forward ever so slightly before knee pain begins. Otherwise, go forward, forward, forward. I'm realizing as I look at myself right now that my upper half color and my lower half color look like two completely different people. That's why you start wearing shorts early and not like me and start wearing them late into the season. Now, if you're like me and you've been holding this position long enough, your legs are probably screaming at you and saying, hey, stupid, stop doing this. This hurts. My quads are on fire. They're even shaking. Tell them to shut up and hold. We want to force stability under fatigue and stand up. Because I had to tell them, you win. We go back into our reverse lunge. This time you can play with it if you know curtsies that you like to do, or if you want to go faster, you can do that. But reverse lunges right away. You don't have to have your knee touch the ground like mine is. If you just go halfway down, I'm happy, it's going to work. I'll show you the side view here of reverse lunges, just so you can see that I can do it, look, with the knee pretty far back, right? I'll do another one, knee pretty far back. That would be less knee pain for some of you, or I can do it with knee more forward. What matters to me is, are you doing it intentionally? Are you aware of what you're doing? Does it hurt? Can you control it? Is it familiar? Those are the things that matter for strength training. We should have a lot of room for variance and variability and things changing in the joints, but we only do it with respect to our joints through building it via strength training, mobility, stability, and balance. We have 5 more reps. There's 5, 4, 3, 2, last rep. And we go right into our isometric knees over toes hold. Feet are not too far apart. Level 1 is just bending into your knees very slightly. Posture back very slightly. Level 2, increase it until the heels are up and you are literally just holding the knuckles of your feet on the ground, the knee bending, core engaged, butt engaged. I'm not holding it like this, like a squat, hips forward. Think the Matrix, where he dodges the bullets. If you don't know that reference, please go watch the Matrix. Hold that position. A good goal for people that do have knee pain is to work on holding something in this position for up to 2 minutes, almost daily. Isometric exercises are shown to help with current pain and stability without going too deep into the range of motion that hurts exceptionally. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, stand all the way up. Woo! I gotta love that one. At least I gotta lie to you and tell you that I love that one. I don't. So last one here, this is an easier leg move. This is more about like a loaded stretch, nothing too fancy. I want you to take your feet pretty close together. Now, slide your left foot back about heel toe distance. So about so. Now, front leg is mostly straight, back knee is bent, butt cheeks touch the wall behind you as far as you can go. Stand straight up. It's a deadlift, but with a loaded stretch. Stand straight up. I'll show you from the front. This leg is mostly straight, back knee is mostly bent, push butt cheeks back, stand straight up. I like active feet here. I'm gripping with the arches of my feet. If you like to turn that foot up, that's up to you. I'm okay with that. We have 2 more. Push back, come up. I don't want to see them fall together like this. I want them open. Switch legs, heel toe distance. Again, I'll show you this view. Not too far apart either. I sit back, butt cheeks to the wall behind me, and I come back up. Try not to round your back like this. Think interview posture. If you had an interview today, you would try to sit upright with some confidence. Hold that positioning of your spine as we go butt cheeks back and up. If this knee needs to bend a little bit, that's perfectly okay for pain management. Do what feels right to your body. When in doubt, if it doesn't feel bad, you're probably doing it right. But listen to your body. It will tell you if you're doing something very wrong with your form. 2 more reps. Sitting back, sitting up. Last rep here, sitting up. Awesome. Quick shake out. Have a quick sip of water. We're going to do something super fun, which you know you should be afraid to hear. This is a single leg walk out and back. Now we want to take away one leg completely here, but it's up to your balance and what you can do where you might be using your other leg for a little bit of support. So I'm going to show you level 2 and then actually go down to level 1. So I want to pick up a foot. Now this foot cannot touch the ground. I'm going to hinge and reach my hands to the ground. Once I get down, I'm going to walk all the way out to a straight plank position, walk all the way back into my heel. Look, heel down, hip helps me stand all the way up. Knee comes up high, reverse, swing into my hip and hamstring, walk myself out to that push-up, back into my heel, hip, knee comes up. Now, if you need it, use your tippy toe. Look, tippy toe is on the ground when I need it. I can use just my big toe or the ball of my foot. That will still work. We have 2 more reps. I want 5 total. All the way down. All the way up. It is okay that you have a rounded back for this one. It's not enough load to cause any real damage here if you go slow and steady. Last rep. All the way into that heel. Knee up. Shake it out. Switch legs. I'm going to lift up my opposite leg. 5 reps. Down. All the way to that straight body position. All the way back into my heel. Bring my knee up. Repeat down. All the way to that straight body position. Use that balance to try to bring your knee up high. Obviously, if you need to use your foot at any point to be safe, do it. I care about you being safe and effective. There's no awards for how many you try to do. There are awards for how effective your workout was, and safe and fun. Last rep, if I can count. All the way out, all the way back. Stand up nice and tall, and take a breather. Those are tough. Now, that one's kind of a good catch-all, bang for your buck exercise. I do like using that as a warm-up for a lot of people because it forces your shoulders, it forces your balance centers to wake up, your nervous system to fire. And anytime I get someone's foot and hip to become smarter and more connected, I'm a happy trainer. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of class, if you'd like some water, you can have some. I mentioned at the beginning of class that I want you to have a towel. Now, the towel is not magic. The towel is just a tool. You are the one that has to make this hard for yourself. I'm going to come a little bit closer and take a knee just so you can kind of see everything I'm asking for. But if you're standing up, whatever, it works. Grab your towel. Now, what I'm essentially getting at is you have to try as hard as possible with these exercises. If you could rip your towel, I'll replace it, maybe. Take your right hand, thumb up, grab that towel with a pretty good, squeeze on it. Left hand is going to come somewhere around middle of the towel, or at least maybe like a half foot away from your hand. Now, I want you to bring that hand towards your collarbone, but not elbow up. So hand to collarbone. Hold it there. Squeeze tight. This hand is going to pull down with all of my might. Pull as hard as humanly possible. your top hand should be mechanically stronger here, so it's going to win. Keep squeezing and pulling up. Don't let that elbow lift. Just pull up with the hand and force down with the bottom hand. We're here for 10 more seconds of isometric work. You should feel your biceps on fire already. Mine are. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now let that hand win. Open up the bicep, and then I want to come back up, regrip, let this bottom hand win slowly. Slowly let it win, and bring it back up. We have 5 more reps. Try to resist it, but let it win. Wherever you have to grab on the towel, some of this is a little bit of figuring out on your own. Squeeze, last 2 reps, let it win. Last one. If it hurts to be too far in like I am right now, hold it out further to the side. Awesome. Switch hands. Left hand grabs it. Bottom hand is going to grab somewhere near. Bring the knuckles up towards your collarbone, but don't lift that elbow up. Glue it to your side. Begin to force down as hard as you can. Pull to the ground. You're trying to squeeze more. Oh, look at that too. If you're sweaty, free towel. I needed it. Really force down. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. I forgot what I was trying to say. Your biceps should be working right now. You're going to feel it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let that bottom hand win. I was thinking I was all creative, like, look at this new use for a towel I thought of. You can wipe your face off when you're sweating. How innovative of me. Last 5 reps. Resisted pull downs. It's not easy at the bottom part, but you'll feel the upper part. Resist the pull down. 3 more. Fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Now, grab that towel about collarbone or shoulder width apart. Palm faces me, elbows tucked into your sides. Now, with your elbows tucked, pull it apart. Hands near my collarbones. If you can rip that towel apart right now, I want you to rip that towel apart. Rib cage is tight. Shoulder blades are down. Don't let them shrug up. Keep those shoulders down. Keep trying to rip that towel apart. Again, if you can rip your towel, I'll buy you a new one. It might not be the one that you want. It might be the cheapest one possible. I promise I'd buy you a new one. Rip apart, rip apart, rip apart. 5, 4, keep pulling. 3, 2, rest. That sucks, doesn't it? Now, you're gonna grab, this depends on you and your width. You're gonna grab about as far apart on the towel as possible here. So pretty wide, but again, if you're really short, this might not work, but I have long arms, so the ends of my towel work. So find what's easy for you. Now, keep a little bit of outward tension the whole time, tautness in the towel. Pull that towel behind the neck, feeling a stretch in the shoulders, and press back up, keeping a constant outward tension. This one might not be 100% tension, but I want you to just feel some shoulder work here and some shoulder stretching. You might not go down as far as me, and that's okay. Maybe with tension, you're flexible enough to go all the way down like so, bring it back up, press overhead, whatever works. Just keep that constant tension outward. I'll show you what this looks like to the side to see how far behind my body I am. This part's the hard part. You don't need to do that flip down and up. I just care about you going up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. That's exhausting, isn't it? Shake it out. You're probably, if you're like me, already feeling your grip, your hands, your biceps, your shoulders, a little bit of everything. The shoulders are the arms are the shoulders, the forearms are the biceps. It's all connected. So the more that we can get something to be squeezing, activating everything from the fingertips to the midline of our body, the better, the more strong and stable and healthy our joints will become. I'm not a big fan of isolation moves, even when it is appropriate sometimes. That's okay. We're going to run through that one more time. Take your right hand, put it on top of the towel, bottom hand. Bring the knuckles up towards your chest, collarbone, or shoulder. You can experiment with where the hand is. Typically, this doesn't feel good on people's shoulders because I'm internally rotated. So somewhere a little bit more in line is probably easier. Now, if you haven't started, brace, squeeze that towel up, press that arm down. It does help to look at your working arm. Imagine it's trying harder. You will get more strength out of just looking and squeezing, trying with all of your might. Do not lose your shoulder blade positioning or your elbow positioning. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. We're not doing the pull down ones this time for time's sake. Grab the other part of the towel, bring that thing up to your collarbone, chest, or shoulder, elbow glues to your side, shoulder blade. Look at this shrugging forward, pull it down and back. Pack your shoulder blade down. It's a good idea for almost all upper body exercises. Squeeze hand up and resist. Really press down, like force it. If you could win with your bottom arm, I want you to try. If it hurts at any point, adjust until there is no pain. 10 seconds. Look at that working arm. Squeeze it harder. Squeeze your fingertips. Even tighten up your core here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Grab that towel about kind of collarbone width apart, whatever feels right. If you want, you can try different positions, but I found that people are the strongest when their hands are a little bit inside of the shoulder for this one. So elbows tucked, ribcage tight. Begin to pry apart that towel. Little extra you can do here is as you're pulling apart, you're going to push that towel away from you and pull it back in nice and close. Push the towel away, pull it in close. No matter what, I'm ripping that towel apart the entire time. We have 6 more. Constant ripping apart of the hands. For 3, 2, last one. Good, and rest. This time I want to do our shoulders in a much more easy and nice way. Don't worry about the opening pressure. Just hold as far as you can comfortably and just pull that towel behind you. Go to where you feel a good stretch in your shoulders or chest. So maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe you're a little more flexible and you can go to here. As long as it feels good, stay there and breathe. Now, if you guys have questions, feel free to stay after the class, ask me some questions in the chat box. But if you're watching this and doing this recorded, you can reach out to me, look me up at Kenny Dean. This is through F7, so you can always reach out through F7 Lifestyle. Slowly relax that towel. Use the towel if you like to wipe yourself off. Get some plenty of water, have some good nutrition. Enjoy your weekend, guys. I will see you next Friday. Make sure to get out, get some sunlight, get some activity as you can. Thank you for coming, guys. Any questions? Feel free to stay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your weekend.